Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Emily and this class is designed for those participating in the 5K Your Way event. So I've designed this as an all levels practice to help you stretch out, wind down, and bring in a sense of relaxation. So you might choose to do this class after a workout, after a run, or even just at the end of your day to help you wind down. We'll begin in a seated position. You can sit cross-legged, legs a little more extended, doesn't matter. Just take a seat that feels comfortable, that feels good. And start to invite some stillness in. Let the hands rest down on the legs. Allow the eyes to softly close. Start to bring some length into the spine. Try to feel the sitting bones grounding down, so that you can feel your spine lengthen a touch more, lifting through the crown of the head. Just starting to take your gaze inward, checking in with how the body feels right now. Not to make any judgments at all, but just to become aware. Taking note so that we can offer a little more care to any areas that need it as we move through the practice. Breathing in and out through the nose if that feels comfortable for you. Just guiding in a deeper awareness to the breath. Gradually inviting a steady rhythm in. So if the breath feels a little bit shallow or choppy to start, it's okay. Just become aware and slowly start to invite deeper inhale and a longer exhale. Guiding your awareness into the present moment, no matter how often your mind wants to wander during your practice. Bring it back to the breath, bring it back to what you're experiencing in this moment. I invite you, before we begin our more active practice, just take a moment to think of one thing that you're grateful for. No matter how simple, allow that feeling of gratitude to wash over you. Allow the thought to float away and guide your awareness back to your breathing. Just take another breath here in stillness, allow all that to settle. And when you're ready, blinking the eyes open, and we'll come through into a tabletop position. Coming onto all fours, setting your alignment from the ground up. So spread the fingers as wide as you can. Guide the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees under the hips. I like to tuck my toes under here, but if it feels better for you, you can keep them untucked. It does not matter. We'll come into some cat and cow. Lower the belly as you breathe in, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. And as you breathe out, press to the fingertips to round the spine, bring the chin to chest, shoulder blades apart. So we'll continue to breathe this way. Inhale to open, inviting in some space. Round on the exhale, just beginning to match our breath and movement. Deep breath in, maybe opening a touch more. Full breath out to reverse. One more cycle like this, moving in your own timing. And just coming back into a neutral spine. So if it does feel okay, I invite you to tuck your toes under, and we'll walk the hands back so that you're in seated, sitting the hips on the heels. This might be a really intense stretch into the backs of the feet, so if it's too intense, just release. But if it's kind of at your edge there and you can stay and breathe, I invite you to do so. This is really good for runners or for anyone who wears shoes a lot, so that's a lot of us. So breathe into the space, breathe to the opening to the backs of the feet, and then ask yourself, where am I tensing up right now? So we want to kind of soften where we can, relax the shoulders, relax through the face. Take one more breath here. And we'll walk the hands forward once again. Coming back to your table, just untuck the toes, and it might feel good to tap the feet out, otherwise just stay in stillness. Extending just the right leg behind you with the toes tucked onto the mat. We'll start to rock forward and back, so starting to breathe into the back of the right leg as you press back, as if you want to bring that right foot flat. So we're getting into the ankle, into the calf. And then as you shift forward, shoulders come past the fingers to engage the core. Bit of shoulder awareness, strengthening. So if your calves are really tight, you might feel a bit of an intense stretch as you press back. Just come to your edge, come to what feels right. And next time you're pressing back, we'll stay. I want you to keep pressing, so keep pushing the right heel as if it's going to touch the mat until you're lifted up. So we're kind of in a half downward dog with a really deep bend to the left knee, and my left toes are really light. So targeting the back of the right leg, start to look towards the knees, chin to chest. Breathe to the back of the right leg. Honor the space, honor the resistance. Take a breath. Beautiful. Gently we'll lower back down to the left knee, bring the right knee down beside the left, back into your table. This time with the toes untucked, we'll bring the hips onto the heels, take the right hand down beside you, inhale the left arm, and on your exhale, reach up and over to the right, breathing to the left side of the body. So maybe bending at the right elbow, maybe walking the fingertips away, listen to your body. On an inhale, come back up, we'll reach both arms through center, and then exhale up and over to the other side, left fingertips down, right arm reaches. Keep pressing the right sitting bone down, even though it wants to lift, send it down, take a breath. Lifting up through center, reach both arms, and exhale, palms through heart center, hands in front of you, table. Extending the left leg behind you with the toes tucked. So really press into the fingertips here, otherwise the wrist might get sore rather quickly. So I want you to ground into the fingertips, almost like Spider-Man hands, so kind of lifting the palm away from the mat. And we'll start to rock forward and back once again. Just honoring if this side feels different than the first. We often meet more resistance on one side. Just taking note, not to judge. Next time you're pressing back, we'll stay there. Keep pressing the left heel as if you're going to bring it flat. And then press enough so that the right knee lifts and you're really light into the right toes. Finding length to the back of the left leg, looking towards the knees or the ankles. Try to keep length in the spine. Take a breath. One more breath in. And with the breath out, just lowering back down to your table. Sitting hips onto the heels. This time we'll bring the hands behind the body, interlace the fingers, and if that doesn't feel good, you could just hold on to opposite wrists. If you're interlacing, press the knuckles down and back, lift the chest. Gentle opening into the front of the body. Maybe the chin lifts. If that feels okay on the neck, take one more breath. Release the interlace or the hold of the hands. Take the hands forward, inhaling your table, tuck the toes. Exhale to lift up and back to downward dog. So in our down dog, we're really looking for length in the spine. So if you're more like this, feel like you're more forward and taking a lot of weight into the hands, I want you to bend the knees deep and press the chest to the thighs. So we're keeping the hips high and spine long. Everything else adjusts to allow that to happen. So make adjustments as you need, modify as you need, and rest when you're tired. Take one more breath here. We'll start to move through our down dog. Inhale, roll the body forward into plank, rippling forward, bring the shoulders over the wrists. On the exhale, bend the knees, bring the hips back, and then straighten the legs towards your downward dog. Take a couple flows like that. Inhale to wave forward. Exhale, knees bend, and we draw back to lift. Deep breath in, high plank. Full breath out, take it back. From your down dog, we'll take a slight bend to the knees, look forward, and step or walk the feet to come to the top of the mat. So feet can be about hip distance, a little wider, a little closer, do what works for you. We'll take ragdoll, holding on to opposite elbows. Now let the spine round, let the knees bend so the belly can rest on the thighs. Now we'll take a little sway side to side. Feeling the sides of the body lengthen, soften through the neck. Settle back into center, and we'll release the hands down and then slowly roll the body up to stand. Keep the chin into the chest until you arrive. Arriving at the top of the mat into Tadasana, arms beside you, palms forward, chin parallel to the earth, feet grounding down. On a breath in, we'll circle the arms, lift the gaze. Breathe out, fold forward. We'll lift up halfway on an inhale. Hands can come to shins or stay to the mat. And on your exhale, take the palms down, step the feet back to plank. We'll lower all the way down to the mat. You can do this from the toes or come down to the knees, your choice. Bend the elbows and we'll meet on our bellies. Untuck your toes, lift your chest, low cobra on your inhale. And on your exhale, roll back down. Press to the hands to come to table, tuck the toes, and we meet in downward dog. Taking 2 breaths here, deep inhale for the length, full breath out for the depth. Take one more breath. Starting to bend to the knees once again, look forward to the hands, step, walk, flow if you like, top of the mat. Arriving into your halfway lift, hands to shins, lengthen spine, and fold with your exhale. This time, root to rise, circle the arms to come up to stand, breathe in, and breathe out, hands touch through heart center, and release down beside you, Tadasana. Taking a breath in stillness. Next inhale, circle the arms, lift up, look up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lifting on the inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, palms down, feet back, into plank, lowering all the way from the knees, from the toes you choose. What do you need? What does your body need? Untuck the toes, lift the chest, low cobra. Exhale, roll down, ground to palms to come through table, tucking toes, and we meet in down dog. Think about keeping the sides of the body nice and long here as you lengthen through the spine, shoulders away from the ears. And this time from your downward dog, we'll lift the right leg to the sky. This is 3-legged dog on an inhale. And on the exhale, take the right foot between the hands and let the left knee touch down into a low lunge. So this might feel really intense here. If it does, then just stay low, support yourself with the hands down. If it feels good, you can bring hands up onto the right thigh, just mindful not pushing onto the knee, so right at the center of the thigh. Soften the shoulders. And try and let the left hip sink closer to the mat. So we have a tendency to kind of pull away here, especially if it is intense. See where you can soften. Just ask yourself to soften into it. Take a breath. For one more breath, you might stay here or you might reach the arms. Palms facing one another, shoulders soft, deep breath in. And on an exhale, we'll all meet with the fingertips framing the right foot if they're not already there. Start to walk yourself back into half split. So we're straightening the right leg, flexing the right toes, and drawing the hips back, chest forward. So rather than rounding just to get closer to the right leg, I want you to think about lifting up and out of the hips. So draw your hips back, reach your heart forward for the length, and flexing the right foot to get into the calf as well. Deep stretch for the back of the right leg. Be mindful, work with your body with how you're feeling today. Honor that it's always changing, it's different every time we stretch, every time we exercise. It's always a different experience. Embrace that. Take one more breath here, sinking into it, any amount. Starting to shift forward, we'll bend the right knee, bring the right foot flat, ground the palms, lift the left knee, and then from here we'll rise up into crescent lunge. So you might shorten your stance a bit like I just did. Press down to rise up, high lunge. So I want you to check in that your feet are on separate tracks here, so we are not on a balance beam. Keep some space left to right. Reaching the arms, stay grounded equally in both feet in order to find that lift. Crown of the head lifts, fingertips reach. Full breath in here. Full breath out. And at the bottom of the exhale, reach the hands down, ground the palms. Right foot meets the left in plank. We'll press up and back to downward dog. Now you have the option to stay here in your down dog, stay in the stillness. You have the option to take child's pose, or you have the option to come through a flow as we did before to reset. It's your choice. If you're flowing, I'll guide you. Inhale, roll forward. We lower on the exhale. If chaturanga's in your practice, you can lower halfway. Inhale to your low cobra like we did, or your upward dog with thighs off the mat. And on your exhale, we meet in downward dog. From your down dog, meeting back here, we'll lift the left leg, inhaling, three-legged dog, lifting any amount. Exhale, left foot between the hands, right knee lowers down. So just check in. If your left knee is way past the ankle and past the toe, it means you have some more space. So walk the toes forward, readjust, and then place the hands wherever they're going to be. This side could feel totally different than the first side. That happens. Tune in, check in. This is a really good stretch for the hip flexor. After a run, after a lot of walking, a lot of sitting, a lot of what we do, we're in this position, right? Knees toward us. So good chance to stretch it out. Take one more breath, maybe reach the arms. And on a breath out, we'll meet back with the hands framing the left foot. Start to shift yourself back into your half split. Left leg towards straight, toes pointing to the sky, hips draw back, heart forward. Think about bringing shoulder blades together here. So really trying to get away from that rounding in the upper back. Keep the length, keep the space. Take one more breath. And we'll start to shift forward once again, bringing the left foot flat, walk your hands forward, lift the right knee. So support yourself here, find your alignment, separate tracks, not a balance beam, and we rise up with an inhale. Reaching the arms overhead, stacking wrists over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Pressing down to find that lift. Find your grounding, find your foundation. Take one more breath in here. And on your breath out, we'll reach the arms down, palms ground, left foot meets the right in plank, and we lift, downward dog. Option stay here for the stillness, option move through your flow, option take rest, coming forward if you're flowing, inhale, lowering exhale, lifting inhale, downward dog exhale. Take a breath. Next breath in, we're lifting the right leg once again, three-legged dog. This time the right foot steps outside the right hand. On your exhale, right foot all the way to the edge of the mat, even off the mat if that feels good. You can bring your left knee down, and if it's comfortable, right toes can point out to about 2 o'clock. Check in with your body. Coming up to fingertips, feel the left hip sink a touch more. Stretching into the back of the right leg, the front of the left. Stay here if this feels like plenty. If you like, you can take the right hand to the right thigh and start twisting to your right. Try and soften the shoulder. And if it's there for you, maybe you'll release the left toes off the mat and maybe reach for the foot. You might touch the foot, you might not, doesn't matter. Just to give that extra bit of space if that's there, not forcing it. Take a breath. One more breath in wherever you are. And release out. Releasing hold of the foot. Bring the right hand back down. Ground to the left toes, palms, and we step up and back from there, downward dog. Just pedaling out the legs, shifting your weight side to side. Steady breath in, steady breath out. Lifting the left leg to the sky on your inhale. Left foot forward on the exhale, outside the left hand. Right knee softly lowers down. Check in, left toes can point out about 10 o'clock. Coming up onto fingertips to start to set into the pose. This is your lizard. Maybe stay. Maybe left hand to left thigh as you twist left. Sink into that space, see what's there for you. And then maybe you'll reach the left arm back, release the right toes off the mat, look for hold of the foot. You might find it and you might not. And that's okay. Checking in with the areas where you feel the most resistance. Try and send the breath there. Support yourself through the stretch. One more breath. Releasing the foot gently. If you're holding the right foot, come to ground through both hands once again. Tuck the right toes and press up and back. Downward dog. Walking it out. And when you're ready, we'll gently lower the knees down to the width of the mat. Untuck the toes, toes to touch but not crossed. Sit the hips back onto the heels and forehead down for child's pose. Inviting some stillness in. See if you're carrying tension through the face. See if you can soften through the shoulders. Walk the hands a little bit over to the right, maybe even off the mat. And you might like to tent the left palm, so just press into fingertips to activate a side stretch on the left side. Inhale, walking back through center, and then exhaling as you walk to the other side. Settling in, maybe tenting the right palm, press to fingertips as you sink down. Inhale, walking back through center. We'll pause for the exhale. And as you're ready, I invite you to just start to walk the hands towards you. Release the legs out from under you to come into seated. Shuffling a little bit forward on your mat. Just make sure that you have some space behind you. We'll come down onto our backs. I like to roll down. You can arrive however you like. Just settling in to your space. We'll meet with knees to chest, taking any hold of the legs, hands to shins, hands to an interlace. Does not matter. Releasing the left foot flat to the mat. Take the right ankle onto the left thigh for figure four. I invite you to start here just to check in. So just start to open the right knee away from you. Flex through the right foot. See how that feels. If you feel like you have more space here, maybe you will take the hands behind the left thigh to interlace, guiding the left leg in as you continue to open the right knee away. So you can use your elbow to the right inner thigh if that feels good. Try to guide your spine long to the mat, keeping the length. continue to invite deep breaths in. This is another one that can be pretty tight for a lot of us. So resist the urge to force something just to get deeper. Really work with yourself where you are. Where you are today. Not another time, not last year. Check in with how you're feeling today in this moment so that you can support yourself through that. Gently, we'll release the left foot back down to the mat if it's not there. And once it arrives, just unwind the legs. I invite you to pause and center. Just inviting in some stillness before coming to the other side, allowing all that to settle. Pausing in the space between. As you're ready, we'll keep the right foot grounded. I'll take the left ankle to the right thigh. Start here, check in. As you start to open the left knee away, flexing through the left foot, check in, ask yourself, how does this feel? If your body's asking for a deeper stretch, please honor that. Take the hands to whatever hold that feels right. Might be the back of the right thigh, might be the front of the shin. Left elbow can come to the left inner thigh if that feels good. Our low back wants to lift away from the mat here. Keep guiding it down to keep the space in your stretch. Guiding deep breaths. Supporting yourself through any resistance, through any intense sensation. Breathe into it. And as you're ready, we'll gently release. Bring the right foot flat once again. And then unwind the leg, left foot flat as well. Just pause. Give yourself time to be. Extending the arms out in line with the shoulders. You might make a T or bend at the elbows to cactus the arms. Keeping the knees bent, we'll let them come over to the right side. And I like to just place my hips a little bit over to the left. That might feel good for you as well. You can keep the knees stacked. If you're looking for a deeper twist, you might cross the left leg over the right. Or if it's too deep, just release the bend in the knees slightly. And then maybe taking the gaze over the left shoulder for your twist. Invite yourself to feel heavy here through the knees, through the shoulders. And again, check in. We're often carrying tension when we don't even realize it. Check in with the face, soften the eyebrows, soften the jaw. We'll slowly bring the gaze back to center and then bring the legs. Once again, pause when you arrive, recentering the hips. Just be in that space between. As you're ready on an exhale, we'll let the knees come over to the left. Maybe send the hips a little bit to the right. Try to take the same variation. So if you cross the legs the first time, try that again. Taking the gaze over the shoulder, if that feels good, over the right shoulder. Invite the stillness in. Try to resist any urge to fidget. the gaze back to center, and then bring the legs. Recenter the hips. Pause. Invite you to draw the knees in towards the chest. Take one hand to each shin. If it feels good, you can let the knees open out to the side. So opening a little bit into the hips, supporting hands on the shins, or even support under the calves. You can always come into happy baby from here as well, taking hands to feet. Just honoring any gentle movement your body's asking for. Guiding the knees back towards one another. Invite you to take the hands, or the forearms rather, under the calves. So rest the calves on the forearms, really connecting the circuit here. Squeeze everything in, lift your forehead up towards the knees as you breathe in, lifting the shoulders off the mat. And as you breathe out, we'll release everything. So let your legs extend long, let your arms open out to the sides, coming into Shavasana. Encourage you to take up space here if you can. Take the feet at least the width of the mat. Let the legs open out naturally if the feet fall out to the sides. Let your palms face the sky with the fingers just soft, so they might be curled in towards the wrists. Keeping your heart space open, maybe slight tuck of the shoulder blades. I invite you into stillness here. Try to allow yourself to sink in, feeling completely supported as if you're laying in a hammock. Just surrender your weight into the mat. Allowing yourself to just be, you don't need to do anything. And I will help you guide your awareness back shortly when it's the time. Enjoy your relaxation. Invite you to start to take in some deeper breaths. Reawakening with the breath, and then start to move. Just starting small, maybe stretching out through fingers and toes. Circling the wrists and the ankles if that feels good. Maybe coming into a full body stretch, reaching arms overhead, interlacing the fingers, bring the feet together and point the toes, stretch out. And on the exhale, soften back into the mat. And we'll roll onto the right side of the body into fetal position. Bending the knees in towards the chest, stacking the knees, the hips, and the shoulders. Just pause. And when you're ready, I invite you to join me in a seated position, pressing yourself up slowly, mindfully. You can keep the eyes closed or close them once again as you arrive. Settling back into the stillness, into the space that you've created. The same position where we began our practice not long ago. But so much shift, so much change since then. So honor the space that you've created. Honor the places where resistance still lives. Know that the breath will support you. And just as we began, I invite you here to take a moment to think of something that you're grateful for, perhaps something different than the first time. Grateful for how you can move your body, grateful for all that your breath does for you every day, all that your body does for you. Our gratitude is the foundation for abundance. Mindfully taking note of and appreciating all that we have helps us see all that we have, helps us see that we have so much to be grateful for. This just continues to grow once we begin this practice. I'm very grateful to you for sharing a practice with me. Grateful for the opportunity to guide you. If you like, I invite you to bring your hands to heart center. This is Namaskar Mudra, palms touching. Gentle bow of the chin towards the chest. The light that lives in me honors, sees, and shares the same bright light that lives in you. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.